Hey everyone, welcome back. It is a new week, which means I've got a new art video for you right here. Today I'm going to show you how to properly get your work ready for transportation, display, and sale. The pieces that I'm going to be working with today are actually heading on over to the Starry Night Inn, which is a really cool boutique art hotel located at the Oregon coast in Seaside, Oregon. If you want to go ahead and check them out, all the information for that is down below. So with that all said, let's go ahead and jump right into today's video. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to show you is how I hang my smaller pieces. These are little 8x8s here, and I've marked at the top 4 inches in the middle. And we are going to use these small sawtooth hooks today. I recommend these small sawtooth hooks for your smaller pieces. They're really simple to install and they hold a little bit of weight, but you definitely don't want to use these for your larger pieces. They will not support the weight of the painting and the frame. They'll probably just rip out. So use these on anything small. Definitely under 12 inches is a good size. Make sure that you hammer them all the way in so that they are in fact secure. Now you want to make sure that all your information is on the back of your art piece, and you need to include your name and the title of the piece for sure. If you want to include what it is, oil or acrylic or mixed mediums, that's fine as well. I definitely suggest do not put the date on the back of your pieces. Here you can see I'm also including that you can watch this piece being made on YouTube. So I have the YouTube information right there on the back as well. You also want to make sure that your pieces are completely finished, not just the fronts, but also the sides. The sides are also just as important as the front of your work. You want to make sure that they are stained or painted or framed. I recommend spending a little bit more time on the sides of your pieces. You can actually have your painting go off the front and around the sides to wrap it. That's a beautiful look. Or you can paint the sides a different color or anything that would really complement the front of your piece. Here you can see I'm just using black. I don't usually recommend just black because it's kind of boring, but this piece does have a black background, so it's okay. If I had more time, I probably also would have at least splattered it with some colors to wrap those stars around, or if I had even more time, I would have used that to use the rubber cement and wrap the painting around the whole thing. So next I'm going to show you how I hang this larger 12 by 12 here. We're actually going to have 2 options. We're going to put a wire across the top, and then we're also going to put a sawtooth in. But first I need to get all my information on the back of this piece. So again, I am putting the title and my name along with the YouTube information on the back. And the reason why I suggested you don't date your artwork is because that can sometimes prevent the sale of the art piece. Sometimes people will look at that and be like, oh, this is older, I want a newer work from that artist. So that's why I recommend don't bother putting the date. Obviously, you know about when it was made, and it doesn't really matter too much for the buyer when it was made. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to install a wire. So these are great. I got them off of Amazon. They're the little hooks and screws that go with them in a set, and I'll be sure to link everything I'm using today down below in the description in case you guys want to go check that out. And then next you need a wire. This one is uncoated. I prefer the uncoated ones. And then you also need a screwdriver right here and a tape measure so that we can mark the spots where those screws are going to go. Okay, so you want to make sure that you put them about 1/3 of the way down. Okay, if you put them any lower, your painting's going to lean forward off the wall. It won't look right. So 1/3, and this is a 12-inch painting, so I'm going down about 4 inches here, and then I'm going to mark the spot on the inside of the wood at 4 inches. Okay, so now we're going to take these, I think they're called D-rings actually. Take the D-ring and then put the screw through the hole there, and then we're going to screw that right into where we marked it on the side of our picture. You want to make sure that when you screw these in, you don't screw them in too tight, because you want to be able to move those D-rings around a little bit to adjust them so that you can put your wire in. Okay, so next we're going to put this wire in, and you want to go ahead and straighten it across the back there and let it come over the edges of your piece by about 1 inch on each side. You really don't need more than 1 to 2 inches of extra wire here. Okay, lots of people put several inches and then they just keep wrapping it and wrapping it and wrapping it around the back, and it looks terrible. You only need about 1 to 2 inches at most. Make sure you also leave a little bit of slack. You want it taut, but you want to be able to put your finger back so it dangles and you can catch a nail or a hook on the wall. Okay, so I'm also going to be putting in a sawtooth hook on the back of this piece. This is that, again, it's the 12-inch mark here. So the piece starts to get a little bit bigger and a little bit heavier. So the sawtooth is probably going to be just fine, but I want the purchaser to have an option between putting it on a sawtooth hook or using that wire. Obviously the wire is going to be a lot stronger, but at least this way I know for a fact the purchaser doesn't have to really deal with hanging it. It's all set for them and they have their pick. So next you need to make sure that your tags are ready. Some galleries will do this for you, but if you're not showing at a gallery, maybe you're showing at a restaurant, or like these are going to the hotel, you need to make your own. So I've taken the sticky labels from Amazon and these blank little business cards, stuck them together here, and they are all ready to go. Next, I'm going to make sure that I put a little bit of tape on the back of the cards and I stick them to the back of the art pieces. The tape is just strong enough to hold and it will easily come off. This way you don't damage the back of your work or those little tags that you just made. Now I'm going to show you how to put this one together with that one. You always want to make sure that your work is back to back like this, or front to front with a piece of paper or parchment in between them like this so that they don't rub up against each other. The reason for this is that if you put it back to front, then the front of your artwork could potentially be damaged by the back hooks of the other one. And now we're just placing them in a box that fits them like so. And these are all ready to go. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how to wrap a larger piece of artwork that won't fit into a box using leftover grocery bags. You want to make sure that you just go ahead and cut it right open, giving you the most amount of space you can get from the bag. I usually just do that by going up the sides and over. And then with that little flap, from the bottom, I end up cutting that off because we really don't need that. And also don't forget to remove the handles because we don't need the handles either, and it'll just get in the way of things. You want to make sure that when you open it up, it is big enough for your art piece, and place your art piece face down on that paper. Make sure that you have some Scotch tape lying around, or paper tape like that, and you're going to wrap your piece with the paper all the way around it to make sure that none of your painting is exposed. Then you're going to take your tape and go ahead and tape it on the paper. Make sure that your tape is only touching the paper, okay? So never have tape touching your art piece. It looks like fortunately we do have enough space. We can go ahead and wrap the edges, which is great and which is what you want. So we're going to go ahead and just wrap it sort of like we would a Christmas present. Please don't forget to label your pieces of what they are and where they're going. Next, I'm going to show you how to wrap larger pieces in cardboard when you don't have enough paper. And it looks like Mr. Ripley here is going to go ahead and assist us today with the wrapping of this larger piece, right? So this is where all those extra Amazon packages come in handy. So I save them, put them aside in my studio, and use them for things like this. Go ahead and cut that box open so it's flat, and make sure it is, watch the cat's head while we're at it. See if he moves. Okay, make sure it's large enough to overlap. Again, you need it to overlap here. You don't want it to touch your painting. Right, Mr. Ripley? Once we remove all kittens from the area, we're just going to go ahead and tape up that seam of the cardboard box. Let's make sure that we have Ripley's seal of approval here. Is that okay? Yep, we're good. And then I'm using painter's tape. I recommend almost any type of tape will work for this, except I would suggest not using gaffer tape or duct tape. That's extremely strong and it'll probably rip open your cardboard. So you don't want it to be too hard that you can't open it easily. And because the sides are exposed, go ahead and tape it all the way around here so that the painting does not slide out. Again, make sure that you label and put your name on all of your packaged pieces here so that you know what they are and whoever is receiving them also knows what they are. All right, there you go. Thank you to Mr. Ripley for giving me a hand today. If you guys enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe down below, and I'll see you all next week.